How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It's your girl Shanice with Shanice's Nurtured Holistics, and I'm here to conduct another conversation regarding Black maternal health topics because it is Black Maternal Health Week. It started yesterday, the 15th. Today is April 16th. And tonight's conversation is going to focus primarily upon the reproductive years. If you tuned into my conversation last night, we talked about the adolescent years because this is going to be a series for the various stages and phases of the feminine reproductive life cycle. Because our feminine reproductive health does not start or initiate upon conception. It starts well prior to that, and it extends well beyond that. And these conversations are just to stimulate some conversation within your home, amongst your friend groups, and etc. So why am I having these conversations? Because I am a Black ancestral medicine practitioner. I am a doula, and I specialize in feminine reproductive health, and I specifically tailor my products and my services to the plight of the woman of color. So it's only right that I do it. If nobody else will, I know there are other people that are, so yeah. But I'm doing it in my own little way to add my own little spin on what I can offer the collective. I got some notes this time. Yesterday I winged it. While I think I did a very good job, today is a lot more structured than yesterday because I knew today what I was going to talk about. And so, like I said earlier on, hi Nikitra, how you doing? This conversation will be great because there's a lot of mothers that I follow and that follow me. And so I'm expecting a lot of dialogue in the comments to kind of boost or enhance the engagement on this topic because this is something that covers a lot of women within my age range. Like I said, we're going to focus tonight's topics primarily on the reproductive years in a woman's life, and that is a crucial period because it covers a lot of disparities for women of color compared to our counterparts. This period typically involves dealing with fertility, pregnancy, infertility, because this is all encompassing in terms of my dialogue and my conversation because you're still in your reproductive years, even if you're experiencing issues within fertility. I don't even want to say issues, concerns. This also covers women who are trying to avoid pregnancy completely. I see you, I was you, and I respect you. You also deserve to be discussed or included in the conversations for topic because, again, if you're Black, you're a woman of color, you're within your reproductive age range, then you more than anybody have a seat at the table, okay? Where are you in terms of your reproductive phase in your life? Let's start there to kind of stimulate a little bit of conversation down in the comments so we're not just goldfishing me and staring because I really still can't get past that barrier in my live content where I feel like I'm talking to myself because I'm looking at myself, and if there's enough comments going on in the comment section, I'm really just going off my notes, especially when I'm not on live doing readings. But while I wait for some input, I'm gonna be flowing right along. There's some key areas that require attention to improve health outcomes for Black women in our reproductive phase and stage in our life. And I first want to discuss health and wellness and mental health. People feel like those constructs or aspects don't belong and within conversations about feminine reproductive health and maternal health, but yes, it does. Your diet and exercising directly reflects the environment in which you have the capacity to produce or reproduce. Many women that I've encountered in the practices that I do who have infertility concerns, as long as they make some changes to their diet, which we typically look at your blood type. I'm a firm believer in one eating in accordance to their blood type. It's a fad that everyone do veganism, fruitarian, and all of that other good stuff. If it's sustainable for you, do that, but we still need proteins and things like that. So if you can make it work, cool. If you can't, don't feel pressure to do that, because that's the new flavor of the week. Coming from somebody who has tried veganism, vegetarianism, pescatarianism, straight carnivore, I've tried it all. And to be completely honest, if I'm eating a diet that's in accordance or in alignment with my blood type, I feel better. So in my practices, that's typically what I recommend. I also encourage women of color to exercise. We do not like sweating. The only place black women like sweating is in the bedroom. And if you know what I'm putting down, you could pick up what I'm putting down, okay? We don't like to exercise. We don't like to sweat. We like to glisten. We like to glamour. We wear our crowns. We do it well. We don't like to exercise. And our inability to work out a great exercise routine, whether if that looks like you just walking for 30 minutes or you lifting weights. And I know there's a strong misconception that if women are lifting weights, you're going to look like a bodybuilder. I too felt like that at one point before I started to get a better hold or grasp on my fitness. Lift weights. Black women need to do squats. Exercising enhances and promotes what activities you participate in the bedroom, if you get what I'm saying. If you could squat, you could ride. And if you can do some cardio, that enhances your endurance and your stamina. So it all works together, whether you believe it or not. Also, your diet promotes a healthy internal environment for you to be able to reproduce. Nobody has conversations with us, healthy conversations with us about what we're putting into our body, because we're so concerned about the external that we forget that there's a whole lot of systems inside of us that are supposed to be working together that will help us look better and feel better and allow our bodies to do what they need to do. Your diet impacts the level of inflammation that is present in your body. And if you're eating certain things that promote or enhance mucus production, then that discourages a healthy environment for pregnancy. Nobody tells us that we should not be drinking milk from cows or eating dairy products. Because we are humans, we should be consuming milk that comes from humans. So should our children. But that'll be a different topic. But for now, that'll be a different discussion rather. But for now, we're just going to keep it on a personal level. We are not consuming the right things to have a fertile environment. And so definitely take a look at what you're eating. And if you need some assistance, set up a wellness consultation with me so we could take a look at your blood type, what you should be eating and what you should not be eating. I wanted to have a a diagram or a guide prepared for tonight's conversation, and it didn't happen, and I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. It's Mercury retrograde. I just knew I had to be here, and I have the information, so I will have that guide available on my Etsy shop, and it's gonna be for like $1. I just want you to make an investment in yourself so you have the tools that you need, but there's also some work that should be done first, so definitely connect with me so we can have that. But in addition to your health and wellness, creating a conducive environment for reproduction, it also creates the space for mental clarity, and it helps to improve your focus. And that's important, especially in your reproductive years, because if you have a baby, the better grasp you have on your health and wellness, that will definitely enhance or curb the likelihood of you having postpartum depression. Your diet and exercise definitely curbs chronic health conditions like hypertension, diabetes, obesity, and all of these things disproportionately affect the Black community due to our diets, because we love soul food. We got to do something about that in order to be able to promote and enhance our quality of life, as well as the babies that we're bringing into this dimension through our portals, okay? Your diet also helps or promotes a strong sense of mental health. There's not enough conversation surrounding the fact that your digestive system is your brain. It's up here, your brain is here, but the function of your digestive system and your ability to function directly reflects or is a result of what you put in your body. Your health is your wealth. That's not just your financial or tangible resources, that's also your peace of mind. The more you're able to manage particular conditions through your diet, it promotes greater sense of health during your reproductive years as well as during your pregnancy. Our mental health is a critical component of the maternal health cycle or stage of our life, and Black women are at a higher risk for postpartum depression. Hey, Cindy. And they have access to less resources because it's really taboo in the Black community for us to seek mental health support, spiritual life coaching, because everybody tell you to go to church and pray about it. And not for nothing, if I'm going to be honest with you, there's not enough, I don't know how I'm going to put this without offending anybody, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but there's not enough mention in the Bible where women are not depicted in the best light, if you will. Our first introduction to a woman in the Bible, she's participating in a forbidden act. And so it's really difficult for us to find refuge in a resource that is not really for our empowerment outside of us being a human, having an experience here. And that's the best way I could put it. I'm going to tell you this. There's a lot of different resources available for us before, during, and after our reproductive years. And definitely don't hinder yourself by being afraid to seek help if you feel like there's some things you need to heal. Because what I will tell you is what you fail to heal in your reproductive years, you will see it displayed in your children because it's already embedded in your DNA. So if you fail to heal it internally, you're going to see it present itself in your kids. And that's why exercising is so important, because it not only heals us on a physical level in terms of our physique, but it also heals our DNA. You change your genetic structure by what you put in your body and what you do with your body. So we want to be very conscious of that, especially when we are considering having children, and even for those who are avoiding having children. If you are avoiding having children, you still need mental health support. We all do. If you're avoiding having children, there's still means for you to help yourself in terms of your reproductive health. Let's take a look at what you're doing to avoid pregnancy, for starters, because there's a number of different birth controls out here. You may want to evaluate what you're using, what metrics you're using, because if we really having conversations about reproductive health, we need to start talking about ovulation and how a lot of us are taking birth control pills 28 days out the month when you really are only trying to avoid 1 day of instance or slip up. So we need to start having conversations about tracking your ovulation. When you having your periods, what do your periods feel like? When are they happening? I had a conversation a couple weeks ago on the divine feminine and our relationship to the moon. If you haven't checked that out, definitely go back a couple of reels. A couple of lives and tap in. Or go to my YouTube and watch that. But take a look at what you're doing, what you're using. Because we don't really know our bodies enough to be able to help ourselves in a high vibrational manner. Nobody has conversations with us about the true effects of birth control on our bodies, and our gynecologists are not having conversations with us about what the birth control is actually doing in order to keep sperm from penetrating the eggs. Your egg drops 1 day. That's the day you ovulating. Find out when you ovulating and either use a barrier measure like a condom, or don't have sex, or try some other things. Our great grandmothers didn't have birth control, and yes, I realize that the world is changing and life is expensive, but you got to think about what you're sacrificing to save money. And I'm not judging nobody. I was on birth control from the time I was 15 till I was in my 20s. And then after I had my daughter, I was on birth control for quite a few years. But I'm not on that anymore. I'm also celibate, so I'm not judging you for what you're doing. But in my studies, and even just me monitoring my own body as a woman, I've come to the realization that we doing a lot of work for just 1 day. To skip it for your health. Nobody tells women that when you're using certain types of birth control that you're literally a breeding ground for overproduction of mucus membranes in your womb space, which could then also translate into you producing particular STDs. Where do you think they come from? Your diet paired with your birth control method of choice can also enhance your likelihood of creating an environment to breed STDs. Most STDs are parasites, bacteria, or fungal. They're only of the three. Parasites come from your food, bacteria comes from your food, fungus comes from your food, and not being clean. Nobody tells women that when you have the Mirena and the copper IUD that they increase or enhance your likelihood of having chronic bacterial vaginosis and problems with yeast infections. Why does it function that way? Because it's literally a piece of copper or nickel in your womb that's protecting the egg and creating a thick ass mucous membrane around your egg to keep sperm from penetrating it. Nobody is having conversations with us about the effects of how acidic sperm is and how you ain't supposed to be letting these men shoot the club up, if you know what I mean. Especially if their diet is not right. You're creating an ecosystem of germs. But it's not completely your fault. Even with being as clean as you can be, if your diet is poor, it don't even matter. All of these different things go hand in hand. And when you have a limited access to services and resources, we kind of just winging it, especially since there's not enough research to support the things we really need to know. And I'm saying this from the perspective of someone who's done a lot of research on the feminine reproductive health. I worked side by side with one of my doctors before with a problem that I was having, and she was just as effed up on it as I was, and I didn't go to medical school. But I knew it was a problem, and I knew that I was doing everything that I could to make sure that I was good, aside from taking a look at my diet. And once I started not consuming dairy products, definitely changed problems like that. I don't care how many people you see selling yoni washes, yoni oils, boric acid tablets and capsules and suppositories, half that shit in there ain't gonna work if you ain't drinking water and eating right. You shouldn't even be putting boric acid suppositories in your womb, because boric acid is rat poison. Back in the day in the South, the old people used to pour boric acid around their house to keep the roaches out and to kill rodents. Why would you put that inside your body? Because Honey Pot made it. Or because her fantasy box made it. I see all the same advertisements. I live in the same world as everybody else. But what I'm telling you, and I'm not hating on no brands. I respect all people who put together research in order to help perpetuate and advance the health of Black women. Because the owner of the Honey Pot is Black, and she inspired me to take a look at my purpose. So I just want to say that as a disclaimer. But at the end of the day, that shit is poison. Because a spade is a spade. I don't look it up. Don't take nothing I'm saying at face value. I encourage you to look it up. And if you questioning anything that I gotta say, I want you to take that same energy and start questioning your medical practitioners. Start advocating for yourself. Because I love it when I make a recommendation to somebody and they ask me, what's in it? What it's gonna do? And I ask them, do you ask your doctor that question when they prescribing you the new flavor candy of the month? 9 times out of 10, you're not. Herbs ain't gonna kill you. What's found outside ain't gonna kill you. But all them compounds that they making in them laboratories can, and they'll create other side effects and other symptoms. But I promise you, if you take a herb for something, if it don't help what it's originally intended for, I promise you it's going to help something else. Because that's just how the body works. We need to start having more productive conversations surrounding prenatal care. And not just taking prenatal vitamins, not just, what you're consuming. I'm talking about why so many women of color are dealing with risks and concerns such as preeclampsia and gestational diabetes. Those types of concerns don't just start during the pregnancy. To be completely honest, preeclampsia is hypertension, high blood pressure. It might spike more during pregnancy because you carrying another person and you're not eating right. You're not drinking the right fluids. Most women that I have conversations with surrounding reproductive health, we gonna have to start with the basics. How much water are you drinking? Do you drink coffee? Nobody told us that coffee is destroying our wombs. It's not just giving you wings. It's not just giving you a boost of energy. It's ruining your womb space. Because what are you putting in your coffee? Sugar, syrup, cream. Sugar is addicting. Caffeine alone, coffee alone is not bad. It's the additives. And it's just creating more pockets of mucus in the body, drying you up. 1 cup of coffee. For 1 cup of coffee, you have to drink 5 glasses of water in order to rehydrate yourself. And you can't just drink your water straight up. Like you have to make sure that there's particular minerals in there in order for you to add the electrolytes back into your body that you lost from drinking the coffee. Nobody's having honest conversations about the maternal mortality rate in the Black community. Did you know that Black women face a significantly higher rate of maternal mortality and morbidity than white women? This is influenced by various factors, such as underlying health concerns, quality of health care received, biases, our access to quality prenatal care, our ability to select cultural, competent, and respectful providers. Systematic racism. There needs to be more conversations had in that arena, how Black women are not heard. And you need to get a doula. You need to get a midwife. I'm going to say it because as a ancestral medicine practitioner, when our ancestors were delivering babies, because we was delivering babies before doctors was a thing. In the South, they was delivering babies and they didn't have doctors come through unless somebody was dying. And so Black women were surviving and thriving before doctors got involved with them lab coats. Think about it. If you have conversations with your great aunts, if they're still alive, your great grandmothers, if you still are blessed to have them, they'll tell you. It was a lot of stories of people getting caught in the kitchen. They wasn't going to the hospitals. Black women were some of the first patients that were tested on to see how strong we were. We were treated like guinea pigs. And so that level of inability to care for us as humans has transcended among generations in medicine. And so it's our job to make sure that we advocate for ourselves in a system that's not really designed for us to thrive, because they was using us as research guinea pigs. Test and see how strong we were. I'll never forget when I was delivering Imani, my practitioner tried to tell me that I wasn't contracting. And I'm like, I know this is my first baby, but I know what a contraction feel like because I ain't never experienced this before. Tried to tell me I wasn't dilated. She was about to send me home. She stuck her 2 fingers inside of my cervix and broke my water. That was a no-no. And there were so many ways that I was violated during my delivery process that I didn't even recognize was violations until after I studied to become a doula. Learning your state laws and regulations, or having somebody who is well versed in that arena by your side during labor is important. You need somebody present to advocate for you and your baby. You know, some women have to fight to retain their placenta. Do you know what happens to your placenta after you deliver it? Many of us don't even ask. But I'm going to tell you. It becomes cosmetics. They're also used in additional research, especially for cancer. Stem cells are some of the most malleable cells, highly stimulating and healing, that the system is using, especially from melanated women. They don't give a damn about us, only for our benefits in terms of research. But we still haven't recognized how powerful we are, the royalty in our DNA. Get a doula, get a midwife. There's been ongoing research into the specific needs and challenges faced by Black women during our reproductive years. And there still needs to be more insight. I was doing some research the other day, and I found out that there hasn't been any developments in medications for PCOS and endometriosis in 40 something years. While in the same token, there's many drugs made for our male counterparts and their erectile dysfunction. So there needs to be some policies, some different reform programs targeted for the disparities in the Black maternal health arena, and addressing these within a comprehensive healthcare system, as well amongst women just holding space for one another and having real conversations is definitely going to help empower us and change some things. And so I said a lot, but if you got any questions for me, let me know down in the comments. If you have any concerns for me in terms of how I can help you overcome particular concerns that you have with your feminine reproductive health, definitely set up a wellness consultation. I have a number of different products directly geared towards feminine reproductive health, mental health support, you name it, I got you. I even have an affirmation deck for women to help unstuck yourself. It's called the How to Unstuck Yourself affirmation deck. So vibe with your girl, get some spiritual life coaching, whatever you need, I got you. But thank you for tuning in to my Black maternal health conversation. This was day 2. I will be back tomorrow. I think I want to get more into birth control topic because I seen a really interesting post today where women are having a lot of discussions surrounding mishaps with birth control. So definitely tune in. You want to connect with me, the links are in my bio. I'm sure I'll be happy to work with you. And if you have any questions directly that you can't see links to get you what you need, shoot me a message. Have a good evening. Bye.